All right, ladies and gentlemen, buckle up, because there's another entry in the endless parade of prestige TV superhero slop. HBO's Lanterns teaser trailer is here, and, oh boy, where does one even start? This is supposed to be Green Lantern, the cosmic space cops with magic rings that let them build anything their willpower can imagine. Instead, what's on display looks like a rejected Taylor Sheridan pilot with a couple of guys in denim jackets occasionally mentioning power rings. No space travel, barely any flying, just grit, profanity, and a whole lot of brooding on dirt roads. First, the question, why even do this at all? Remember the 2011 Green Lantern movie with Ryan Reynolds? Yeah, that one. The over-the-top CGI suit that looked like a bad video game cutscene, Parallax as a giant yellow cloud monster, a rushed script turning cosmic adventure into a generic origin story with floating CGI head syndrome. It flopped so hard it killed Green Lantern movie plans for over a decade and nearly tanked Reynolds' career before Deadpool came along. Naturally, DC Studios and HBO look at that disaster and think, the problem? Too much space. Too much color? Too much fun. Instead of leaning into the imaginative intergalactic scale, the stuff that actually makes Green Lantern unique, the project went the opposite direction. Economical, grounded, earthbound murder mystery in some dusty American nowhere town. It's like Star Trek was reimagined as True Detective with glowing jewelry nobody uses. And speaking of that dynamic, Hal Jordan is portrayed as a broken, bitter old timer. Kyle Chandler nails the grizzled look and his seen-it-all stare is on point. But he's basically Coach Taylor, if Coach Taylor was a washed-up space cop who hates his job and swears every other line. Which brings us to a pattern that's starting to show up across multiple projects in James Gunn's version of the DC Universe. A lot of these characters are being introduced not as aspirational heroes, but as people who are already emotionally damaged, cynical, or deeply flawed. In the Lanterns trailer, Hal Jordan is clearly framed this way. He's older, he's worn down, and he seems to carry the weight of a long career that may have gone wrong in ways we haven't seen yet. That approach isn't unique to this show. It lines up with other upcoming DCU characters, including Supergirl, a story that also leans heavily into trauma and personal hardship as the foundation of the character. Peacemaker dives into childhood abuse, self-loathing, and daddy issues. And again, none of this is inherently bad. Flawed heroes can be compelling. But when every character in a universe is introduced as broken, cynical, or emotionally damaged, it starts to shape the overall tone of that universe. Instead of larger-than-life heroes, you get characters who feel more like anti-heroes. People whose charm comes from their rough edges, sarcasm, or emotional baggage. That style of characterization has become very popular in modern franchise storytelling. The question for DC is whether that tone fits characters like Hal Jordan, who traditionally represented something much more straightforward: confidence, courage, and a kind of fearless optimism. If every hero starts from a place of trauma and disillusionment, the risk is that the DC universe begins to feel less like a world of bold mythology and more like a collection of damaged people reluctantly trying to do the right thing. Then there's John Stewart, the rookie, clearly the admirable one. Except in the trailer, he's the one mouthing off, "You're old, you're tired, your time is up." Hal pushes back with, "This is my job. As long as I'm alive, that ain't gonna change." A clear undercurrent of generational replacement runs through their interactions. John isn't just a trainee, he's the social progress that's here to stay, while Hal is the outdated relic standing in the way. Don't be surprised if, by the end of the story, Hal turns into a villain at some point. It could be framed as a loose adaptation of the Parallax storyline from the comics, where Hal becomes the corrupted antagonist. This would elevate John, shifting the focus from partners to the rookie stepping up to stop the former legend. And then there's the tone of this trailer itself. The show seems determined not to feel like a comic book show. F-bombs dropping every 30 seconds, a female sheriff putting men in their place, and joy is almost entirely absent. Green Lantern is about willpower conquering fear, epic battles across the galaxy with wild aliens, and yet here it's muted colors, dusty roads, and interpersonal drama. One quick flying shot with Hal, a ring point that cuts away before anything happens, and a suit hanging in a closet like it's laundry day. The approach suggests a strategy focused on shock value and intensity to win over viewers seeking harder-edged drama. Instead of leaning into what makes the Green Lantern mythos unique, The show seems to rely on profanity, grim tone, and broken characters to signal adult storytelling. As a result, the power ring risks being reduced to a tool for graphic violence, rather than a symbol of hope and determination. After the Ryan Reynolds flop, avoiding another CGI mess is understandable, but swinging all the way into prestige TV seriousness has led straight to bland, grounded boredom. If the goal was a gritty detective story, make one. Don't make Reacher and slap Green Lantern on it and pretend it's the same thing. This trailer divides fans because it isn't selling Green Lantern. It's selling HBO's idea of what a serious superhero show should be. Dark, edgy, cool, and completely divorced from the comic spirit. Could it still work? Only time will tell. Is this the fresh take the DCU needs, or just another case of Hollywood being embarrassed by capes and power rings? Drop your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more videos like this one. Thanks for watching.